It was a typical day in San Francisco. A lesbian got her purse snatched, went to the police, looked at a lineup, and then fingered the wrong girl.
You can philosophize with Kant or against him, but you can't philosophize without him. It's interesting to think about what Kant would do today. I mean, I think he finds himself much in opposition to linguistic philosophy. I'd say Kant would have a strong interest in the phenomenological movement from Husserl on. Question about whether system building is a viable mode of doing philosophy today. You find people saying that, but then you look at the careers of philosophers like Quine and Davidson, or Husserl and Sartre and Heidegger. These are thinkers whose work is ultimately highly systematic. You want some dessert or anything?
No, I don't know what's that. If you want.
No.
Anything else?
No, I should do it. That's good.
You have also a feel for Kant the man, where
I'm not sure I get along with Kant very well. My feeling for him is pretty much in terms of agreeing with his sort of comprehensive thrust. Makes him more in the Platonic tradition, you might say, or even the Aristotelian. But started out as a young academic. He would make money by going down to the local bookstore, which had a pool room in the back, and hustling people. There are not very many good biographies of Kant. Again, he tends to be more interested in comprehensive problems, ones that have a fairly broad scope. And there's what's called the aporetic tradition in philosophy that goes back at least to the time of Aristotle, where, and in a way, it's Aristotle's manner of defining himself in contrast to Plato. Plato has this sort of comprehensive thrust, like Kant. His view is that anything is just for the philosopher's mill, and any topic of discussion can ultimately, be seen as having a philosophical dimension. What's important is a problem rather than a mere question. As I say, for Plato, any question can be a topic of discussion and can be followed up in terms of its relation to other questions. But for Aristotle, a philosophic issue has to be a genuine problem, something that is an obstacle to thinking or to acting. And so, but a problem for Aristotle has to be a difficulty that is felt, not just abstractly considered, but one which you respond to because it's blocking your thinking about something or blocking your action about something. So this aporetic tradition is basically the way in which Aristotle differentiates himself from almost all the other members of the Greek tradition. There aren't too many adherents to this approach. Other thinkers who fall in this tradition would be people like William James, would be John Dewey, Camus.
I put Wittgenstein in that same area.
The early Wittgenstein or the late?
Later.
Yeah, I guess
it's a way to avoid pseudo problems.
Yes. And an interesting question is, what is a pseudo problem?
Where language goes on holiday.
Yeah.
Words idle.
Well, a pseudo problem in a way is a problem because something about the use of language is preventing clear thinking or successful action. Kant doesn't think in that way. For him, what's interesting is the extent to which you can approach an issue by well, he calls it the experimental method. He and Hume are pretty much in agreement in these terms. It's an issue that you can approach by breaking it down into parts, varying the parts systematically, seeing how they relate to each other, and building on that. For Kant, each unit of thought is a kind of experiment, and an experiment is a way of systematically varying a bunch of variables. You got variables A, B, C, D, and you've isolated these as the elements of your problem, and then you shift one of them and hold the others all constant, and see what happens. Then you go to the next one and hold the others all constant and vary that one, seeing what happens. And that's just, in a way, that's the structure of the Critique of Pure Reason. And it's also the structure, interestingly, of Hume's essay or treatise on human nature, and he talks about it in the preface to the treatise as a kind of model, just as Kant does in the preface to the Critique. So you got this experimental tradition of thinking that goes back to the time of Protagoras and the Sophists, in which what's important is human activity is interposing itself on the variables of the issue. So it's a kind of operational procedure. So you've got Plato's dialectical tradition, and you've got the Kantian operational experimental tradition, which, interestingly enough, as I say, he shares with both Hume and Berkeley. Methodologically, they're all very similar. And then there's this problematic tradition that, as I say, goes back to Aristotle, and the basic unit of thought is always a problem for someone like Aristotle or Dewey or Camus or James. A priori synthetic knowledge with regard to mathematics. We got a priori synthetic knowledge with regard to morality. And then, of course, there's the general scope of metaphysics. As all of these are, in a way, different kinds of a priori synthetic knowledge. The fact that you've got a label that covers them all, in general terms, doesn't efface the differences between them. You've got to take account of those differences as your starting point.
So you think Kant would have an effective rebuttal to a Wittgensteinian charge that he was doing philosophy bad by using the wrong words?
Yeah, I think it would.
If you were asked the question, who were the most influential philosophers that you've read and studied over the years, and why?
Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, Peirce, William James, Camus, Heidegger, Sartre, Hegel, John Stuart Mill.
Did you say Kant yet? I don't think so.
No, not yet. Did I mention Hume?
Did you mention Wittgenstein?
No. But I would.
Yeah.
I would say Wittgenstein.
Austin?
Yeah, I think he's... I think of Austin and Camus as, in similar ways, philosophers who didn't manage to really hit their stride. They died too young.